Hey, what up, everybody? What's up, NBA world? Wow, what a spectacular Game Seven we just witnessed, man. If you're a basketball fan, you had to have enjoyed this one, man. As the Bucks eliminate the Brooklyn Nets on the road, 115 to 111. I think that was the final score. Yep. And I gotta say, man, first of all, I gotta congratulate Kevin Durant. All right, he really showed heart in this series, especially with Kyrie going down, and it could have went either way. But also have to congratulate the Bucks because to me, I had them over the Nets even with a healthy Kyrie Irving. However, you see the benefits of having a full roster and not a super team. See, I think this should super teams or the NBA or future NBA franchises looking to build super teams should realize that it's so much better to have a couple superstar players, one or two, and a bunch of depth around it. That's the way Milwaukee was built, and they pulled it out versus having three superstars and not a lot of depth, because what happens then is when players get injured, guess what? They didn't have enough. But no excuses. This was an even matchup. And I did predict, I told you guys that Brooklyn would not win the championship this year. Now, a lot of people are going to say, yes, but they were injured like Kyrie. You're right. They were injured, Kyrie, James Harden, and all that. However, if you look at the Bucks and the way they matched up, Drew Holiday really didn't do anything in the series. He stepped up and hit some big shots late in the fourth. But overall, man, this was probably one of his worst, displays in the playoffs so far. And I got to say, very proud of the way Giannis played. He showed heart. He was tired. He was out there airballing free throws. Well, my man came through, man. What a game. Got to give it up for both teams. They both left it out there on the court, man. And that's what it's all about. I got to tell you, though, the East Coast playoffs have been so much better than the West Coast playoff this year. And it's been spectacular. Again, the Bucks advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the winner of tomorrow's Game 7 between the Atlanta Hawks and the Sixers. Who do you guys have winning tomorrow's game? Anything can happen. The East has been unpredictable. My boy Din said, I got no beef with the Bucks. I'm cool with them winning it all. So am I. It would be amazing if anybody in the East Coast wins it all. I don't mind if the Sixers win it all. If the Hawks win it all, that would be a Cinderella story. Or if the Bucks win it all, which would also kind of be, a Cinderella story. So again, to me, I feel like the superstar, super team era, the super teams rarely win the championship when they're first built. Look at the Miami Heat, right? When they were first built, when they had Chris Bosh, LeBron, and Dwayne Wade, they didn't win a championship. So the next year, they ended up having to stack up more. So I really do expect the Nets to load up even more, unfortunately, because this is the motto of the NBA nowadays. But I gotta say, what's up, Net fans that were talking smack to Laker fans about us winning a bubble ring and it was easy and this and that. Y'all couldn't even get past the Bucks. Like, you still had Kevin Durant, the what you guys call quote unquote best player in the world. He's one of them for sure. I'll give you that. But it's not enough. They wanted to make fun of us for losing due to injuries, and karma came back to bite them. Now, I'll say this, man. I am live right now, Brandon. Join us. I will say this though. Kevin Durant is clutch, man. That crazy fadeaway turnaround jump shot, he thought it was a three-pointer. He was going for the dagger, guys. I think Brooklyn got really lucky that he had his toe on the line. If not, they probably would have been the ones going home. They caught a couple of breaks because, again, KD, basically another 50-piece, went off. I can't even hate on him, man. He's one of the best players in the world for sure. I'm not going to have the conversation about who's better than who. Hey, what's up, Reels? I'm not going to have that conversation because it discredits greatness in the league. But I will say this. My problem with him is, he's able to show out more with less superstars on the team, as you can see. As a basketball fan, I want to enjoy his full potential, his full greatness. I don't want to see him on a team with James Harden, healthy James Harden, and healthy Kyrie, because it takes away from his greatness. Now he has to sacrifice for the team, and you don't get to see him at his full potential. This is my problem with super teams. I want to see superstars play at their full potential, just like KD did tonight. Honestly, this is what takes away from Kevin Durant's greatness. He always plays for super teams, and you don't get to see this version of him very much. The guy's a killer, man. He can get those shots anytime. He's basically a 7-foot face-up, shooting guard. That's crazy. We never seen anything like him, in the league, to be honest with you. But again, the thing that people hate on him so much for is the fact that, unfortunately, he's always on super teams. And you see glimpses of his greatness when he's not. Tonight, this wasn't a super team. I'll say thanks to Aaron Aguilar. Thanks for the donation, bro, on Cash App. He said, what's up, Dan? Keep up the good job. Lakers for life. Appreciate you, bro. But, again, Giannis needs to develop a consistent jump shot because when he's not driving to the basket offensively, he can become stagnant at times. You know what I'm saying? Giannis needs to get better if he has any hopes of winning the championship. It's going to be a little bit tougher, honestly, to beat the Sixers if they advance. Now, if the Hawks advance, I think the Bucks have favorable matchups across the board. Defensively, they're the better team. They have more size. They have some shooters here and there. Chris Middleton was unbelievable in this series as well. But as a Laker fan, I do rejoice today because Nets fans, for some reason, when they built this super team, they thought that they were going to eliminate us. They were talking the most. They were on my live streams disrespecting. And I promised them they weren't going to win the championship. Promise fulfilled, no matter how you want to slice it. Yes, we could chalk it up to injuries, of course. But bottom line is they did not win the championship this year. That is good. There's only one more team I hate that I need out of the playoffs that's actually is forcing me to root for the Suns this next playoff series. And that's the Clippers. If the Clippers get out of the playoffs, honestly, I give no crap who wins the finals. Of course, I'd prefer, the Phoenix Suns to advance to the finals and then they lose to whoever's on the East Coast. What do you guys think is going to happen, though? What is the finals matchup you guys see? Do you guys think it'll be the Bucks in the finals, or do you think it'll be Philly, or even the Cinderella story in the Hawks, man? I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. One team down, one to go. Absolutely, K-Slays. Absolutely, brother. That's the energy right there. And honestly, this was a very good game. As a basketball fan, take it off my fandom. I honestly wouldn't have minded if Brooklyn won just to see that greatness continue of Kevin Durant. He's throwing up crazy numbers in the playoffs. But at the same time, like I said, the promise was fulfilled. I promised Brooklyn fans they wouldn't win. They were disrespecting us. I promised them, hey, you guys are not going to win. You don't have enough depth. Wait till you're probably going to get eliminated in the second round. I said it on this very channel. Now, nobody could have predicted all these injuries in the playoffs. So that part of the game is disappointing. I would have much rather them lose fair and square, fully healthy. That way they don't have any excuses. But, hey, it is what it is. These playoffs have been, thanks to Commissioner Adam Silver, these playoffs have been egregious on the whole injury front. So let's just hope that next year everybody's healthy, and then that way there's no excuses on our way to the finals, right? He said KD is a beast. Too bad he always goes to super teams. You saw that bozo play Lopez did, man. LOL. Brook Lopez was probably one of my least liked Lakers of all time, right? When he came here, he was like a dinosaur with zero IQ on the court. That's the perfect way to describe his game. And again, a lot of the times his IQ is, I don't know where it's at, in the toilet, because you should know there's only 2 seconds on the clock. At least fire it up. You might get an offensive rebound and the game ends. But instead, what does this guy do? Turns the ball over, gives one of the all-time greats in Kevin Durant a chance to tie the game, which he did. But again, this was an epic game. I wouldn't have been mad either way, although I did feel like the refs were kind of pushing the Nets agenda. I felt like the Nets were getting all the calls. So again, congratulations to the Bucks. They got past, all 5 starting players on the Bucks, and the 6th man, which was the Stripes today. The Zebras were playing for the Nets as well. They were all wearing the same color. He said Bucks versus Suns or Suns versus Sixers. Either one I'm happy with, as long as it's the Suns in the finals and not that other imitation team who's been getting really lucky. Again, if you would have told me that Terrence Mann would have a career night, 40 points, and Paul George would, start playing like Indiana Pacer Paul George out of the blue, I wouldn't have believed you. So they're getting real lucky. And also, if you would have told me that Quinn Snyder, I still have no clue why the man is still employed by the Utah Jazz today. You would have told me he would have made no adjustments in that series, I would have just laughed at you. So, again, the West has been unpredictable. The East, I didn't expect the Atlanta Hawks to be taking the Philadelphia 76ers to a 7 game, but I'm very pleased with that. I'm a big Trae Young fan, and I'm very pleased with what the Hawks have done. They're well coached, and I'm curious to see who's going to win that game tomorrow. Anything's possible at this point. He said, I don't like how people giving KD credit for airballing a game winner, but drag LeBron for dropping 51 points going head-to-head against the Warriors. 51 points? Are we talking about – okay, we're talking about the finals, right? When LeBron was in the finals, when he was on the Cavs. Okay. I always give credit to greatness. When LeBron dropped 51, I said, amazing game. Okay, so I'm gonna give credit to greatness. It just whether I like the player or not, obviously I'm a big fan of Kyrie and KD's on the court style of play. I don't like their off court antics. I don't like their immaturity. I don't like a lot of things they do. But when it comes to basketball, just putting on my basketball cap, that is, that is truly spectacular. And as you can see, Clipper fans and Net fans are the same. They're both showing up to my channel, and they're really mad they lost tonight. They're in unison. Uh, rumor has it that they caught a plane over to Brooklyn after last night's victory from the Clippers, and that's how they were able to fill up both arenas. So they're mad in my chat. That's cool. We're gonna ignore them. Bottom line is this was an epic game for the ages, man. What a game 7. As a basketball fan with no stake in it because my team is gone, I enjoyed this game. I really did. Kyrie wouldn't have airballed that 3. Hey, man. First of all, KD put him in position in overtime, so we can't really criticize him for an airball. He was tired. The defense on the Bucks was great. I mean, it was just a great game. Yes, KD on the court is good. Off the court, I don't care for him. I agree, Rios. Absolutely. Bron owns the East. KD can't. That's true. KD needs hella super teams. LeBron James is an overall better basketball player than Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, both championships have been on super duper stupid teams, and he was trying to build another one here with Brooklyn. It was a failure that he didn't get to the finals at least. I said it when they built the super team. I said, I much prefer if Kyrie and him would have stayed on the same team, and then they would have kept Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, and all of their depth, and then they made it to the finals, major props to KD. But since they added James Harden, this was a failure. Super teams that don't at least get to the finals are a super failure, no matter what the excuse is. It's just a fact, My Lakers don't have a super team. We just have it. And Anthony Davis and LeBron. That's a 2-star team, which is what it usually takes to win a championship. So to everybody trying to bring up, LeBron James as a super team, you're a hypocrite, blah, 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 all this stuff they talk. Bottom line is we're not a super team. We don't have a third piece. Now, if we get a third piece, we'll be a super team. And I wouldn't be shocked if it happens, but I'm not expecting it. Now, as far as, like I said, I much prefer a team with depth because injuries they suck, man. Basically, once Kyrie Irving went down, Blake Griffin stepped up, played major minutes. He's a has-been all-star, but I told you guys he could play good minutes. I knew it when I wanted him on the Lakers. Now he's not an all-star, so he's not what makes him a super team. But again, Kyrie, James Harden, KD, and 2 of them were on the court, and they still couldn't get it done, which just shows you that the team was overrated, all right? As good as their superstars are, their team is overrated. James Harden's always been overrated. I told you guys. And yes, I get it. He came off of an injury, but, man, he still gets all the calls and everything, and he still couldn't help his team advance to the finals. So, I prefer, again, I'm not a huge fan of super teams. I much prefer depth. I like the 1-2 combo with a bunch of good depth, like the team we built last year when we won a championship. That way, fans and players and everybody can't say you got a super team, you got a cheat code team, when you win it. He said Westbrook's wife started following LeBron and AD. That could happen. I told you guys as soon as the season ended, realistically, I could see Westbrook. It always tends to be the friends of players. It's a friend player league. Like now you got to befriend players to come join your team. It's like high school all over again. I don't like it, but you got to get used to it. It's a part of the new era. So again, LeBron James could very easily recruit players like Russell Westbrook, Draymond Green, even though he's still in the contract. If they fall apart, don't be shocked if he gets traded over here, even though I don't want no part of him. Can shoot to save his life. Good defender, good playmaker, but that's not what we need. Bottom line is look at LeBron's friends, and those are probably the players that are prime candidates to get traded to the Lakers because LeBron has major say in what happens with the Lakers. I mean, just look at it. Clutch all over the team. And I don't mind as long as we built a championship team. That's the bottom line. LeBron could do whatever the heck he wants as long as we build a championship team. You got no complaints from me. For me, it's the name on the front of the jersey before the name on the back. Just waiting for the Flippers to get knocked out so I can rest peacefully. I agree, Rios. Trust me. I really hope that Phoenix isn't all smoke, right? Prove themselves. They knocked off the champs, so now it's time for them to actually compete for the championship and get to the finals. Prove your worth, and maybe I'll put some respect on Devin Booker's name. But for now, to me, still a crybaby, still a dirty player. Very skilled crybaby, very skilled dirty player, but, those tags remain on him till he proves himself otherwise. Win a championship, you got my respect. Okay, that's just the way it is. Because the biggest upset is Clips in the Western Finals. CP3 versus the Clips, though. Nice storyline developing. I care nothing about that. Chris Paul, another crybaby, another dirty player. He learned those antics from Doc Rivers because I don't remember him being like this in New Orleans. As soon as he joined the Clippers, he turned into a dirtbag. All right, that's the bottom line. That's why he got socked out by Rondo. That's why Tiny Dog almost got in a fight with him. All that good stuff. But bottom line is, I don't care about their storylines. I just want to see them kill each other on the court, and hopefully Phoenix comes out victorious. The Clippers been getting real lucky this season. I'll tell you that. Real lucky, man. But thanks a lot, No Pill Zero. Appreciate you, bro, for the donation. My boy says, sub DTLF, much love, brother. Nets take the biggest L in playoffs. Can you imagine building a super duper team just to get knocked out in the second round? Unfortunately, yeah. As far as that goes, you're right, bro. It is disappointing for their fan base. I'm very happy. I'm quite happy with this outcome. And of course, Clippers/Net fans are here in my section. Here's the thing. All right. I felt like the commissioner was trying to push the Nets to the finals and the Clippers to the finals because both of those franchises are not very loved by their respective cities or the cities where they reside. Everybody knows that's respectively Knicks Town and Laker Town in LA. So I felt like commissioner was trying to help out those poverty franchises. And, it didn't work. At the end of the day, this is why I love the game of basketball, because if a team like Milwaukee just shows out and plays good, no matter what the officials blow out, no matter how many whistles go in the opposition team's favor, if they keep their head down and just play, talent wins out 9 times out of 10. So he's a DTLF. Chris was clutch tonight. Big clutch, bro. Chris Middleton was majorly clutch. He's always been one of these underrated players, to be honest with you. But tonight, he came through, especially when Giannis was tired. He needed some help. I got to say, Jrue Holiday's contract is very questionable, guys, because he hasn't done much in the playoffs, to be honest with you guys, outside of the first round. And the first round, he was all right, But this round, he didn't do nothing. He needs to redeem himself in the next round just to, prove that he earned that contract because he's basically a max player. He ain't playing like a damn max player, Reggie Jackson outplayed him in the second round. And I know they're different playoff series, but what I'm saying is, come on, man. What's going on? What's going on with teams overpaying? I told you guys when Jrue Holiday got paid, I thought he was overpaid. Don't like to talk about other people's pockets and stuff like that. But seriously, man, this guy was such a disappointment this series. This one could have ended in 6 in favor of the Bucks had Jrue Holiday showed up, but he didn't. But he still has a chance to redeem himself, and I expect him to play a lot better. Is that Hawks versus Bucks? Book it. I hope you're right, Leanne. The Hawks are the only remaining Cinderella story in the playoffs, okay? They've exceeded everybody's expectations. I did not even have him, getting past the New York Knicks because of Tom Thibodeau's defense, and I thought Julius Randle would ball out. Little did I know Julius Randle would revert to his old, bull in the China shop type self. So, they got eliminated by the Hawks, but credit to Trae Young. He killed them. Again, Trae Young killing it again in the second round. And I'm very curious to see who wins tomorrow between Philly and the Hawks. Now, imagine if the Hawks advance and somehow they take the Bucks to 7 games. Oh, man. That's crazy. That would be nuts. Let me ask you guys a question, okay? If Allen Iverson took his 76ers with, past his prime Mutombo, Aaron McKinney, and Larry Hughes, and a bunch of good role players, but it was basically AI who ran into that amazing Laker team in the finals and then lost 4-1. If AI took his team to the finals, okay, and exceeded expectations that year, where will we put Trae Young if he takes his team to the finals? I'm not saying it will happen, but if he's able to accomplish this feat, where do you guys rank him as far as guards? Is he a top 10 already? Is he a top 5 in the league already if he does this? Because he's exceeding everybody's expectations. I told people early on were saying Luka Doncic is a superstar, which I agree, and Trae Young is a bust. They were calling him bust his rookie year. I kept telling people, hey, man, I like Trae Young. I think he's going to be spectacular. I hate labeling young players bust. Some players are just later, they're late bloomers. If Trae Young gets his team to the finals. Now, I'm not going to put him on Allen Iverson's level. I'm just making the comparison of that year's run versus this year's run. I think you have to rank Trae Young as a top 5 point guard. And this is just a hot take. I don't want to live in the moment, but I'm saying if, and it's a huge if, he's still got to get past the Sixers tomorrow, which is going to be really hard. He still has to, put up a fight against Milwaukee and get past them. But man, that would truly be. I would move him up into my top 5 if he is able to get the Hawks, okay, to the finals. That would really blow everybody's mind. I think, like I said, I like this kid coming out of college. People told me he was a bust. I'm telling you, I for some reason I could tell when somebody's really talented. He looked poised. He always great player in college. I'm a big fan, and I hope his Cinderella story continues. But if he gets his team to the finals, man, he's really gonna make a splash. This man, he's really making a name for himself so far. He already has me really impressed. He said, "No way, he's a top 5 so soon." Wait, what? Let me read that. No way, he's a top 5 so soon. If Embiid wasn't injured, that series is over already. If I get it, but he has overexceeded. All right, he has overachieved. Now, mind you, people thought that the Mavs destroyed that trade by adding Luka, which is still debatable. But the Hawks, they moved back a couple of spots. They took Trae. They took, I think, DeAndre Hunter as well. I'm not sure who else was included. Cam Reddish or somebody. And I know it's the East, which is weaker than the West, but Luka's never been out of the first round yet. Now, part of that has to do with the Mavs management and all that. But Trae Young, if he gets his team to the finals before Luka even gets out of the first round, now this is why I tell you guys it's not good to be a prisoner of the moment. All those people that were saying, Trae Young's not as good as Luka. The Hawks shouldn't have traded Luka, blah, 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 blah. You always got to wait before you make these judgments. Give him at least 4 to 5 years. And look what Trae Young's doing now. That's all I'm saying. He said, so what's all the fuss about the Lakers? About the Lakers, man, we're hearing rumors. I mean, obviously, with the whole Kyle Kuzma situation, people expect them to get traded. We got other tradable, movable assets. We got guys like Dennis Schroeder potentially on sign and trade. You got guys like KCP. You got movable contracts, okay? Now, we're hearing a lot of names. But again, 90% of the time, what I've seen from Rob Pelinka, it's not the names you hear, especially early on, but it's the ones you don't hear, okay? So I don't know what kind of move is going to be done, but any day, anything can happen. I don't know. Also, we can wait till the draft and try to address needs there. If you guys haven't seen my draft video, I dropped the draft video today in the afternoon. Very good. Top 5 shooting guards that the Lakers should potentially consider with that pick, who I think realistically will be on the draft board. So go check that out for sure. Now, there's a chance that we draft a player, and then when he's eligible to be moved, he could get traded or dealt as an asset, especially if he does get in the summer league. You just never know. So I wouldn't get too attached to this draft pick, but I am excited to see what the Lakers do moving forward. They're going to have to get creative. But mentioning that, if anything happens, I'll report it to you guys. I haven't been reporting nothing because none of these rumors really have any validity to them until Woj, Shams, or anybody with some serious credentials reports on it. I won't really move the needle for me, right? He said Conley to the Lakers. He said his goal is to win a championship. Again, who said that? I'm not sure who said this, but your best ability is your availability. Conley's been injured throughout his career. He couldn't make an impact in that Clipper series. Part of the reason why they lost. I'm not sure if that's a good idea for the Lakers to try to get an injured riddled point guard like Kemba or Conley. If they can go out and get somebody who's healthy more times than not, and like Russell Westbrook or somebody else, maybe somebody younger, more spry like Lonzo, maybe we can do more damage. But again, it's all objective. I'm going to keep my mind open, and I am curious to see how the Lakers front office is going to proceed moving forward. Like I'm very curious. He said, if the NBA Zebras don't rig it, I got the Bucks winning it all this year. And remember, guys, people were surprised that I had the Brooklyn Nets so low on my list as far as real championship contenders. And the reason why is I told you guys they're not that deep. And that showed once they lost Kyrie Irving. So again, I'm not surprised that the Bucks got past the Nets. But it could have went either way. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like it was a given. That was a very good series, to be honest with you guys. The Bucks dropped the first two, and I thought, oh, here go the Bucks again, pretending in the regular season and then dropping the ball in the playoffs. And then all of a sudden they turned it on and they won 4 out of the last 6 games, right? Or yeah, 4 out of the last 6 games. Yeah, they won 4. Nope, bad math. Well, they won the last. They won the last couple of games. They got to 4 before the Nets. Okay, my brain is all over the place. I've been working all day. Hold on that Harris trade. He said flippers are pretenders, not contenders. I agree with that, Art of War, but they've been getting extremely lucky. Again, Quinn Snyder just basically gift wrapped at him the Western Conference Finals. I guess he felt sorry for the franchise since they never won anything. He said, you know what? There you go. I kind of don't feel like working in the NBA no more. Let me just leave Rudy Gobert out there on an island. Everybody can come take a dump on him, and so be it. Suns beating the Flippers. We'll see. We'll hope so. I hope so. But again, the West has been very disappointing. I had Luka in the Mavs after they went up in that series. I was like, now I'm starting to believe they could close it out. They didn't do it. The Jazz went up 2-0. They fell apart. Like, it's ridiculous, man. They did after going up 2-0. How do you not win a single game after going up 2-0? And on top of that, the final 2 games, Kawhi didn't play. Major question mark there. A lot of answers for them. I'm glad I'm not a Jazz fan, though. Very happy about that. That's that front office. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing over there. He said, Dan, would you mind picking up Westbrook in free agency? No, I'm very open-minded with the whole situation. As long as we get better, I'm happy. He said, my Thunder are doing the things the right way, Dan. Always, man. Sam Presti always doing things the right way. The best thing he could have done was trade away Paul George because that guy was a fraud, man. And I know he had the last couple of games, but that doesn't change my mind on him. Let's see what he does the rest of the way. CP3 will not play. He said the 2 Suns home games. Something like that. The whole COVID, he caught coronavirus, according to sources. I don't know how long that takes. I don't know if that makes him weak. I have no idea, man. I've been blessing him not to catch it, so I can't speak from experience point of view. Would you trade for Kemba? I wouldn't trade for him, but however, if they for some reason want to buy him out, I'd be glad to take a flyer on him on a veteran minimum deal. But I don't expect that to happen either. Again, they were compensated with a draft pick in order to absorb that contract. That's what young rebuilding teams do. They're able to absorb bad contracts, keep them on the team for a couple of years because other NBA teams don't want them. And, their reward is a first-round pick, which they got they got paid handsomely. They got a treasure trove of first-round picks, the OKC Thunder. So, again, Sam Presti, he loves young prospects and he's looking to build through the draft, or he's going to put together a bunch of those, build through the draft, and also do a blockbuster trade to try to land maybe another star player like Karl Towns or somebody like that. You just never know. Draft picks are they're a commodity in this league, and they're something that everybody looks for at all times. But back to the Nets. Nets losing, man. This was great for the NBA. Again, the last thing the NBA needed to see was another super team hoisting the trophy. So this is a great thing for the NBA. And also, hopefully, the league learns this lesson. Like, hey, you can have a super team, but injuries could end all that. If any of your 3 superstars get injured, all of a sudden you have a very average to mediocre team because the rest of the depth is not there. So again, hopefully the team's blueprint is 2 stars and a bunch of good role players and maybe rising stars, or build through the draft and then add stars later. There has to be a better blueprint than just having everybody take pay cuts and join the same team. That's not even fun to watch. This was more fun to watch. This series, the only reason this series got entertaining was because Kyrie Irving got injured. Let's be real. I hate injuries, but we got to see KD at his best because of it. He said, I can trust Kemba's knees. I can't trust Kemba's knees. That's what I'm saying. I don't think the Lakers are in any hurry to give up anything for injured, riddled players. Unless we're in that much desperation, then I will stand corrected. But, this guy said, Nets bandwagon stand up. What the? Nets bandwagon, jeez. He's a Dan, Lakers fan. Dan, what do you think of the Lakers firing their trainer and contributed to 5 championships? I think it's a bit bad for the Lakers because it's not entirely her fault. I just heard about that during the game, okay, and I'm glad you reminded me of it. But yes, they fired her, and unfortunately, somebody always takes the blame for. But really, the one person to blame for all these injuries, not just on the Lakers but around the league, is Adam Silver. All right, when he first came into the league, everybody was talking about how great of a commissioner he was, how the league is in good hands. But all of a sudden, the pressure to make money made him make irrational decisions of starting the NBA up sooner. Now, I'm not gonna lie and sit here and lie and tell you guys that in the moment I wasn't happy because we got basketball back sooner. That would make me a hypocrite. I was happy, but I wasn't thinking long term. And now I see why LeBron didn't want to play. Now I see why all these superstars were not exciting, man. They were not excited, to come back. So at the end of the day, man, it was a bad decision. He says super teams should stop at a 2 per team, not 3. Do you agree? That's 2 per team is not a super team to me. That's the right way to build. Obviously Pippen and Jordan, Kobe and Shaq, Gasol, and that's the blueprint. But super teams to me are 3 or more, and then a bunch of Hall of Famers as role players. Those are super teams, which is what Brooklyn tried to do. Unfortunately for them, LaMarcus Aldridge, he retired due to his illness, and then Kyrie got injured, so their depth ended up being thinned out. But that's what happens, man. You build a super team, anything can happen. Either going to go your way or not. COVID takes about 21 days to fully recover from. Experiences that don't know about athletes, they're more physically stronger. That's a good point. That is a good point, Vincent. We shouldn't compare ourselves to these athletes. Their lungs are way better than ours. They're in condition, they're in shape. So that could definitely factor into it, for sure. But this was a great game tonight, regardless. All right, you can't really call the Nets a super team tonight because they only had a semi-healthy KD and a not so healthy James Harden, and they went up against the Bucks, who were built the right way. They got their superstar in Giannis, they got their all-star, borderline all-star in Chris Middleton, and then a bunch of role players around them. They got the PJ Tuckers, who all actually did make a difference. I told you guys when they acquired him, keep a lookout for the Bucks. I think the acquisition of PJ Tucker can make a difference, especially versus Brooklyn if they face him. And guess what happened? He made a huge difference, right? Even though KD went off, this guy was a pest. This guy made it really hard. This is the reason that KD airballed that last shot, because he was winded in overtime. PJ Tucker, man, he's a tough player. He's a tough defender. He hustles. He hits that corner jump shot. Very good player. He's somebody I wanted the Lakers to look at in the trade deadline. Unfortunately, we couldn't acquire him. I'm not shocked, though. Obviously, we know the whole agenda of not trying to trade good role players to the Lakers. But at the end of the day, he made a huge difference, man, and I couldn't be happier for him and the Bucks. They deserve it. Now, if they make it to the finals, I'll be cheering them on. They've never won a championship in Milwaukee, not that I know of. Again, I don't know their history. Maybe Kareem won one back in the day, not sure. But from what I know, I wouldn't mind them having one. PJ is a competitor. He said Suns, Bucks finals. He said Bucks win the world championship. Giannis finals MVP. All right, Daniel, I see you, bro, with the hot takes. We'll see. Again, hey, I'm going to tell you something, though. Watch out for Philly. If Philadelphia gets past the Hawks, they've always been my dark horse to win it this year. If Joel Embiid continues to play like a beast, they get past the Hawks, that's going to be a tough matchup for Giannis and the Bucks, okay? Because if they're not knocking down threes, if Drew Holiday isn't balling the way he's known for balling during the regular season, and Chris Middleton's the only one knocking down shots consistently, I got to tell you, Philly has better role players. Seth Curry has been showing up. All right, Dwight Howard has been showing up. They got Tyrese Maxey, rookies out here balling for them. So, not to mention Ben Simmons can't shoot. I get that. But Joel Embiid sure as heck can, and he is a superstar by all means. So, crazy. I'll take a couple more questions, guys. He said, DTLF, thoughts on KD saying AD and Kawhi are the best lockdown defenders in the NBA? I agree. I agree with that. Absolutely. I thought last year Anthony Davis should have been Defensive Player of the Year. Like, they gave it to Giannis, and I don't really see Giannis as a, defensive, even all first-team NBA player. He's a good defender, but he's not a great defender per se. As you can see, he didn't even guard KD. He allowed them to get damn near 50 points. So he said, Dan, I don't care. He said, I don't know, but he said, who? Doc Rivers, the biggest playoff choker? Yeah, he is. I've always said it. Doc Rivers is overrated, man. I said it when he was on the Clippers. I'll say it now. I said it when he was in Boston. He's overrated. He really is. He has that championship due to the fact that Boston was just really stacked. All right, they were a super team. They had Ray, Pierce, and KG. All right, they still had prime basketball in them, and they had Rondo, who was playing like an all-star, and they had dirty players to do their dirty work, like Kendrick Perkins and Fat Ass Davis. They were stacked. So again, major props for the Lakers for ending that little charade in 2010, and again, nobody likes super teams, but that's the way it goes, man. Anyways, if you guys didn't check out my draft video, you guys want more Lakers content, make sure you guys check that out. And enjoy the rest of your evening. I know I will. Shout out to the Bucks for getting this done. Prophecy fulfilled. I said Nets would have won the championship. I have them even getting eliminated in the second round. People scoffed at me. They said, "Nah, man, you're crazy. They're a super team." I said, "But they don't have depth." There you have it, guys. Another prophecy fulfilled on the channel. And then my boy right here, Steven Bradley, says Bucks at Clippers in the finals. I got Bucks in 6. I really hope the Clippers don't make it to the finals because their ego's already inflated like a damn hot air balloon. The last thing we need is for more of that nonsense, more of that talk about Clippers running LA and all this annoying BS that they talk from the backside. So that's the last thing we need. I hope the Suns make it just for the sake of getting rid of those annoying fans. And I hope that the East Coast wins the championship this year. But we'll see what happens, guys. One day at a time. Can't wait for tomorrow's games. They should both be fun. I won't be watching the Clipper one, though. I don't know. Every time I watch the Clipper games, the Suns versus Clippers, I get disappointed. Clippers been getting really lucky. So I won't be watching that one, but I will be tuning in most likely to watch the Hawks Sixers. So you might find me here for a reaction tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your evening. Peace out.